If you're looking for the perfect budget gaming PC, you came to the right place. Today I will show you my favorite budget gaming desktops that you can buy right now for the month of June 2022. We will have all the links down below in the description, and in case you have a higher budget, you will have plenty of more options. And if you want to see another video, you can watch my latest best Prebuilt gaming PCs overall for the month of June 2022, or any other video about PC builds that I make in case you want to build one by yourself. Without further ado, let's start with this one. With the first PC we have the HP Pavilion 2260 XT. Now I've made a full review talking about this PC with benchmarks included, so if you want to see how that one performs and more details about it, you will have the video in the top right of the screen, and that's why I won't talk about it a lot on this video. But basically it has a GTX 1650 Super, you get the i5 11400. This is a really nice budget combination for just $550. I think the price is excellent for a starting gaming PC at 1080p gaming. There's literally no game that you cannot run at least 60 FPS on average, of course depending on the settings that you want to play them at, but for most 1080p games 60 FPS on average is going to be perfectly fine, and for competitive games you will be able to achieve 144 FPS on average, so a high refresh rate monitor is going to be definitely possible. With the next one we have another one from HP, but this time is the Bigtooth 15L. This one has the GTX 1660 Super, so it's much better than the 1650 Super, so you will be able once again to play every single game at 1080p, but this time you will have better results on the FPS counter, and the most important part is that it has 6 gigs of VRAM instead of 4, making it way better for modern games, because 4 gigs of VRAM is becoming old, so you will need at least 6 gigs of VRAM for the modern and future games. Another thing to keep in mind is that on the Bigtooth 15L you also get the i5 12400 instead of the 11400, making it much better because the 12th gen of Intel is actually insanely good. All of this combined for $650. Now I do recommend you upgrading the storage and the RAM, since you get 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of SSD. This might be enough for you depending on the games that you play, but I do recommend at least 500 gigs of SSD and 16 gigs of RAM. You can customize it from the website, and if you don't have the money to do it right now, don't worry, because these are easy upgrades that you can make later on. With the next one we have the Skytech Blaze 2 from Newegg. This one is $850, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. Here you get the RTX 3050, which is a great budget GPU. It's basically the 1660 Super but a better version, because you get 8 gigs of VRAM, so once again better for modern games, and you also get features such as ray tracing and DLSS, which on the last case DLSS is going to help you with the FPS, and ray tracing is going to make the game look better. Now, are you really going to use ray tracing with an RTX 3050? I don't think so, but the main differences are the VRAM, the DLSS, and you will get a slightly better performance than the 1660 Super. Now this PC has some cons, the first one being that it has the i5 10400F. Now this is a great budget CPU, but I would like to see at least 11th gen, but this is not a terrible thing since the 10400F combined with the 3050 is going to be perfectly fine for 1080p gaming. But if you want to upgrade to a 1440p monitor, I would recommend at least the i5 11400 or the 12400F. I still recommend you upgrading the RAM because it only comes with 8 gigs, and this is not dual channel, so you definitely need to upgrade the RAM, and then you get 500 gigs of NVMe SSD. This might be enough for you once again. And the pro that this PC has is that it's a system integrator, so you can basically change everything on this PC, and on the Bigtooth 15L you can't change everything. Most components you can, but there are some components that you cannot change, such as the motherboard, the power supply, and the case. Well, in theory you can change them, but if you change one of them you will need to change the other components. And with the number one, we have one that's $900 from Best Buy. This one is the Cyberpower PC Gamer Master. This one has the Ryzen 5 5600G, which is going to be similar to the i5 11400. Then you get 8 gigs of RAM, which I do recommend you upgrading once again. But the most important part here is that you get the RX 6600, which is much better than the RTX 3050. So for 1080p gaming, this one is going to be the best one on the list. It's also on sale right now. You end up saving $300, which is a huge discount, and you get way better performance than the last PCs, and it's also a system integrator, so you get both upgradability and great gaming performance for right now, and the price difference is only $50 from the last one, so this is definitely the one that I recommend you buying under $1,000. Now if your budget is below 800, I recommend you going either for the HP Pavilion or the HP Bigtooth. If your budget is around 850, I recommend you going for the last one, but if you can go up to $900, I think that this one is the one to go. For competitive games, you will be able to achieve 240 FPS on the lowest settings in games like Valorant, CSGO and Fortnite, but on the last game, Fortnite, I do recommend you upgrading the RAM to 16 gigs as soon as possible because Fortnite is a high demanding RAM video game and 16 gigs of RAM is the standard nowadays. With that being said, that was my whole list. If you like it and find it helpful, leave a like and subscribe, and most importantly hit that bell button so you get notified when I upload this type of content. And like I said at the beginning, if your budget was not mentioned, don't worry, you will have plenty of gaming PCs down below in the description, and if you have any questions, leave it in the comment section and I will try to reply as fast as possible. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.